Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. Today is my honor to have Nick, one of the co-founder of Weird Giraffe Games. Nick is a former rocket scientist, a pilot, and also someone that have been helping bring more than 20 crowdfunding campaigns to life. Alongside with his wife and their team, he has spent the last decade turning creative, quirky game idea into real game on the shelf that you can buy. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today, Nick.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to be here and talking about what I love, which is making games and doing business.
Yeah, so first of all, you have a very unique background. I think you are the first guest that used to be a rocket scientist before you become a publisher. So can you kind of walk us through on your background and what made you realize that you want to become part of the game industry?
Yeah, so my entire life, I've been focused on working in the aerospace industry.
Yeah.
I've loved space my entire life, and I focused in on that. Another thing that I really love doing is entrepreneurship or business. My parents started their own business, and throughout my entire childhood, they instilled upon me the wanting to start a business kind of thing. So in 2016, I was able to, in my spare time, like when I'm not working as a rocket scientist, I worked with my wife to start this company to make board games.
See?
And then I just had the opportunity in the last few months to quit my rocket scientist job and do this full time. So
congratulations.
now I'm doing this full time, and it's been a wild ride to go kind of from one of the biggest industries in the world that has billions and billions of dollars down to working at my small business making board games. So it's kind of been a really big learning curve for me to kind of go from that type of industry to working as a small business and doing the hustle.
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of our guests on the podcast have went through a similar journey, myself included, because I also started as like a part-time business, like working 20 hours on top of my 40 hours and try to make it work. But looking back, what was the biggest challenge when you are doing this transition and before you take the leap of faith of growing and scaling the business?
Yeah, it was definitely a big challenge to do a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then work when I get home on basically another full-time job. That was a lot of effort. And in the last 10 years, I've been doing that. And I think one of the biggest challenges was separating the two. Because of some rules where I worked, I had to make sure that I completely separated working on my business and the time that I spent on that from my day job. So I'm so glad now I don't have to. I don't have a day job, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's been one of the hardest things.
What would you say is that decision point that you say, okay, enough is enough. Finally, I'm going to do this full time? Like looking back, is that a specific moment in time or is that like a story behind it that you can share?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that came into that decision point. I think it's really important to make sure you have a plan and make sure you have a financial plan and essentially a runway of how long you could do this with kind of making very conservative assumptions about the money that can come in from this. So what I did was over the last 15 years or so, we've been saving up from my day job and this business and building up to have so right now you mentioned we have over 20 different products that we've got on sale. So we have a big library of stuff. We have a number of different goals where we're reaching out to potentially make some partnerships to do licensing in other countries. So we have a big plan. We have a number of different Kickstarter campaigns planned for this year. And the most important part is we have savings that we put away to and we've made some conservative assumptions that I could do this for about a year or two
Okay.
assuming we don't get any more or the business kind of craters and our lifestyle and in our lives are still okay.
That's a very good plan. That's something I would suggest for someone that's also thinking about going it into full time. Just like running any businesses, there's always risk behind it. It's always good to have some like cushion, like at least some safety net in case. You should have at least 6 months of like saving just in case if the business doesn't scale or doesn't make as much money and profit as what you might think. So that's a very good thing that you did that before you make that and transition. So what are some of the major challenges now that we are doing it full time? Do you have a new set of challenges that you're dealing with now?
Yeah, I think the new set of challenges is going from, so it's mainly been mostly just me and my wife doing this full time. And we've
Okay.
had some help from contractors outside of this. But my major challenge has been letting go of things
Delegation.
that I've done
Yes,
before,
yes,
delegating.
yes.
Now that I want to do it faster and I want to scale up higher, I need to delegate. I don't have the time. I can do all the different tasks that are
Yeah.
required, but I just don't have the time to do them all right now today. So I'm
Yeah.
learning how to delegate those out to different places. We brought on a number of new partners and employees to help us out with all of this, and I've just been learning how to work with them. I haven't really had much management experience, and especially in this world, it's completely different than my management experience in engineering world. So I've been learning how to work with creatives and work with logistics type of partners and licensing type of partners, and make sure that everybody has what they need to keep going and keep working.
For sure, for sure. How big is the team now? So
Yeah, so right now we've got over 10 different people that do some sort of facet, and we've also started working with some more major partners to take on major areas of the business. One of the big things that we've been doing is I've been organizing the logistics and shipping of our products from the manufacturer in China to wherever they need to go.
okay.
And we're working to onboard a new partner. We're going to be working with AllPlay to take care of all of that stuff. So being able to kind of just delegate it out completely to a company that has a significant amount of experience and a logistics setup. They know exactly what they're doing way better than I do. And it's been great to be able to let go of some of that stuff.
For sure. Yeah. And one more thing I want to touch on, or I guess elaborate on, is when you talk about delegation. I think that's something that a lot of the business owner and entrepreneur, we all struggle with. I think my philosophy is alone, obviously, sometimes we want to be a perfectionist and try to do everything correctly ourselves. But it's actually better for someone else to do it at 80% of how much we can do instead of doing everything ourselves, because you're just going to drive us nuts.
Yeah.
To do everything.
I've been really struggling with that and trying to take the mindset of if somebody else can do it, they should be doing it, not me. I should be doing the things that only I can do. I think I learned that from, what was it, the 4-Hour Workweek book? Basically, delegate out anything that you can do. And then you've got it exactly. I think one of the traps that we as creators who have been doing this for a long time, 10 years, we've been doing it the way that we want to do it. And just because somebody does it different and it may not be up to our standards or up to what we want it to be, doesn't mean it's wrong or it's bad. And them taking that off of your plate is ultimately a good thing, because then you can go do something that nobody else can do, like come up with new ideas or develop new business partnerships because you're talking with new people.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And actually, there's a very easy exercise I'll recommend for you to do. And you can do it on a piece of paper, or if you prefer spreadsheet, you can do it on a spreadsheet. This is a business exercise called Delegate and Elevate. This is how it works. First, you list down all the current tasks and responsibility that you have yourself, because you might be wearing 5, 6, 7 different hats inside a small company, which I do myself when I was scaling. But right now I have 22 employees, so I couldn't do all the tasks myself anymore with the scale of our size. So with this exercise, after you list down all the tasks and responsibility, the next thing you want to do is start putting tasks into 4 different buckets. The first bucket is all the things you don't like and you really hate. You don't want to do them. Delegate, eliminate, or just automate those tasks that you really hated and you just couldn't do it really well. Then the next category is the thing that you don't like, but you kind of can do it. You can do it decently, but you just don't enjoy doing them, and try to delegate, automate, and eliminate those tasks as much as you can. The next category is a little bit tricky. This is where a lot of people get stuck on. Is the type of task that you like and you're good at. Some people will continue doing those because you kind of can do it and you kind of like them. You don't really hate doing that. But the final list of category is called the zone of genius. It's the type of task that only you can do as a founder, and you do it so well and you love it and you really bring your energy by doing them. For me, as the owner and the founder, is connecting with people, connecting with different partners, and like coming up with directions and like leadership for the team. That's for me. But this is a very simple exercise that you can do that I would highly recommend. And also for our listener that's struggling with delegation, this is a very simple exercise. It should only take you about 30 minutes to start writing things down and just like draw 4 boxes and put all the tasks into one of those boxes to figure out, like, you want to eliminate all the bottom 2 categories and try to see how you can focusing only on your zone of genius long term if you really want to grow and have a team of people surrounding you to make the business more successful.
Yeah, I think that's a spectacular idea. It really, I think, would help with defining the job descriptions and responsibilities for people as you bring them on.
Yeah.
One of the hard things for me has been, well, this person wants to help. Let's bring them on to help us out. And we want to do, can you handle content creation or content?
Yeah.
But it's really unclear about exactly what that means and what those individual tasks are. And something I've learned recently is I need to write very specific job descriptions. With, this is the tasks that you have to do. This is the expectations. This is the results that we expect from you. Otherwise, people kind of do what they want to do. And, it may not be exactly what you want the help with. It may be the things that you are actually wanting to do and are good at. So being very clear on those expectations. 100%. I really love your idea for that exercise because it can really define, like, these are the job descriptions I need to write.
Yeah, pretty much all the things you hate and you're not good at. You want someone else to do those. So very simple exercise. And another thing I will also suggest, this is for you and also for our listener, for those of you struggling with delegation, look into hiring help from overseas. Like for us, we have more than 20 employees based in Philippines right now in the team. It's just a lot more affordable to hire from overseas than hiring from the state with North America. And also Philippine English is one of their official language. So some of my employees actually speak better than me because English is my 3rd language. I also speak Chinese and Japanese fluently. So, I still have some kind of weird Asian accent I couldn't quite get rid of, but that's something to consider. And this is a fact I want to share. A lot of people don't know how big of a cost of living gap there is between United States and other Asian countries. For example, this is the latest stats. I actually just asked ChatGPT to make sure I got the right information. The current 2026 average for a fresh college graduate that live in Philippines, guess how much they make a month? Can you guess, Nick?
So in like American dollars?
In US dollar a month for a full-time position,
is it like
fresh out of college in
Philippines? $3,000 a month?
No, $400.
Oh, wow.
Full time. That is the gap. That is the gap of cost of living that a lot of the business owner doesn't realize. Because for the same position you hire one full-time person in US, you probably can hire at least 5 in like somewhere overseas. So this is how you can leverage your resources. And for the business like us, like in the board game industry, we don't really need people in person. Right. I never work with my team member in person. We all work in front of a computer from our own home anyway. So why do you even want to bother, like hire someone based in US? It doesn't make any sense for me as a business owner.
Yeah.
So something to consider.
That sounds amazing. It's something that we've considered in the back of our minds, but really haven't looked into much. Right now, we do have a foreign licensing agent who's working with us with foreign companies to deal with, but getting help from other countries. How do you start? Well, like, where's the starting point?
Very good question. So the best place to start, I would recommend, is onlinejob.ph. It is an online forum designed for Philippine-based like workers, like remote workers that they are trying to find a job to work in other country. They want to find a job that work for a US company, a Canadian company, or other European companies. That is a really good, like very easy job board to start out with. Just create a job post, like you mentioned, doing that exercise and figure out what are the position you want to outsource and hire. Then just post a job and you can get people for $400, $500 a month for an entry-level position. Really affordable. Oh, wow. That's working 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month for you, that you don't need to do all this work yourself.
Yeah. How would you compare the quality of the work to maybe like...
About setting expectation, as long as you set the right expectation with your worker or your employees and, make the job descriptions and the KPI or the key performance indicator very clear. This is exactly what I'm expecting you to do on a daily weekly and monthly basis, I have no problem. And I've been doing this since 2016. It's going to be
Wow.
10 years for me as well, hiring from Philippines. So, and I always wanted to outsource from day one because I, just like you, when I first started, I also have a full-time job. I have no time. I have to have people, I have to delegate in order for me to get things done. So yeah, but I would just say hiring is same as hiring from any other employees in US. You set the right expectation. So
Wow, yeah, and I've corresponded with some of your employees so far, and to me, I feel like I wouldn't have known that they were not in the United States.
yeah. The 90% of our team is based in Philippines right now.
Wow.
Besides me and my sister, it's a family company. So me and my sister is based in US. Then the rest of the team, everyone else is based in Philippines right now. I know some people like to hire from India or Pakistan, but I just prefer all my team to be in the same country. Some people like to hire one from each country. I've seen that's too much for me. I prefer to keep everyone in the same country. And for example, this year during the summer, me and my sister actually flying into Philippines to have a company retreat in person with the rest of the team for 5 days as well.
That's amazing. That's great. I think that's an important thing to do. That if I do definitely believe there's a lot of benefits for working remotely and working with people from all around the world. I do think it's also very important to get FaceTime with people every so often, just to connect as people. I think that when you're working with somebody, it's much easier and the information flows faster and the trust builds faster when you're actually in person and getting to know them as a person.
That's actually one of the biggest challenge for me building 100% remote team is that personal connection. Because I feel like I actually don't have any friend. I just work from home all the time. I don't even get out of the house. So sometimes it can be very lonely because when you have a day job, you go to office, you can chat to people over the coffee break or whatever. When you are the entrepreneur, when you are the owner and you work from home, you have like no one else to talk to besides your employees. So that is like a challenge in itself. And that's actually very common in the toys and game industry because a lot of us just work from home. We don't have an office or anything, you know.
The cool thing is about board games is that oftentimes, if you're in a major city, there is most likely a group of people that get together every week and play board games.
Yes, that's true.
So it's a great way to test your products and to get to know people in real life. I make it a absolute priority to at least go out of the house every day to see some people and to at least once a week go play games with a game group. And then I'm sure that there's also small business groups in every major city.
You also run your own game group as well, or is it attending someone else?
I have delegated that task to one of my friends down the street. And he's done a spectacular job at running the group.
Great job for Delegation.
Yes. So we have run game groups in the past, but that does take a lot of effort.
Time. How about tournament? Because you have so many games now in your product line. Have you think about running your own tournament for some?
Yes. So I'm delegating that task also. We're teaming up with a group that does a board game convention every year in the local Houston area.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And they are going to help us run tournaments at different stores with like a championship at the convention in May. So that's going to be super fun.
That'll be a fun event. Which game is that for?
That is for our new game, Reef and Ruins. Was on Kickstarter last year, and it's going to be shipping to backers in April.
I see.
What's really neat about this game is you can play with 100 people all at the same time.
Whoa, how does that work? If you don't mind spending a minute talking about the gameplay.
So how it works is everybody gets a sheet, kind of like Yahtzee, and then there's a dice roll. And you get to decide what happens on your sheet with the dice that are rolled for everybody. So what we'll do is we'll put the dice up on a big screen, and then everybody will decide what to do with the dice, and you play 16 turns, and then whoever has the highest score at the end of the game wins. And so you can play with 100 people and just see whoever has the highest score.
It's like a bingo. Kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like bingo, but in this case, it's like if bingo had a whole bunch of like combos and puzzles that you could do. Where if I put the dice in this area, it can trigger a bunch of different actions. Like because I got an 064 over here, I get a whole bunch of more numbers on the other sheets.
How many dice for each of the round? You say 16 round. How many?
So there's 3 dice.
3 dice
rolled
per round.
Round. Yeah.
Then you can allocate the dice to different slot on the board, I guess.
Exactly. You got it.
I see. Okay, very, very interesting gameplay mechanism. And you're very prolific, obviously, as a publishing company. How do you get all this idea of the new game that you're like publishing and coming out?
Yeah, that's another important thing to learn as a small business owner. Everybody's all about the hustle culture. I got to be working 100 hours a week, 24/7, right? We've learned that it's important to take a few hours every day and take a break and go outside into nature, walk around. We're in Houston, Texas, so we get to go to the beach every so often.
Oh, yeah.
My wife and I are just sitting there and we just kind of think about things. And that's where we get a lot of our really cool game ideas that we wouldn't have got if we were just kind of hustling, doing things on computers all the time. So,
that's a good piece of advice. Just go out and decompress and sometimes let the idea flow through you as well.
Yeah, it's really hard for me as a new business owner to kind of accept that as part of my job, I need to take a break.
Yeah, sometimes
it's very important.
That's very important. I have the same problem as well. Sometimes you kind of need to slow down to go faster.
Yeah.
It's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of startups think like, oh, I got to keep doing something.
Then you get burned out.
You get burned out or you kind of spiral around in directions where if you would have stopped and thought for 5 minutes, you would have figured out that I could have cut off a week's worth of work by just doing this thing.
Yeah, because this is also a common thing I see because with our podcast, we have interviewed almost 180 entrepreneurs. We're in the industry already. The most common struggle people have is like a lot of people started as a designer, but then when they become a full-time business owner, they struggle with the business side of things.
Yeah,
they can come up with all the design, but they don't know how to do marketing, hiring, delegations, and all the other business stuff. Like for you, do you have any piece of advice based on your experience that you want to share with some of our audience?
Yeah, and I've kind of realized that because I grew up with my parents as entrepreneurs, that I have basically a cheat code over other people who have never thought about business.
Yeah.
And I've taken accounting classes in my schooling. And so I've realized that I have a leg up for other people. But it's important. I think it goes back to the delegation in figuring out what you're good at. And as soon as you can, bring on a partner or somebody who can help, who's really good and wants to work on like the business aspect of things. There are people, and the problem is as a designer, you may not be in the circles of the people who really love doing business and accounting and marketing and such. And so I think it's important to like get out of your designer circles and maybe at some business to business trade shows. We were talking earlier about Gamma. And going there and meeting people who are there to provide that kind of service. And I think that's a really important thing is if you want to really grow and scale, you've got to work with a team. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah. You'll get burned out for sure. I think there's a wonderful business book I will also recommend, which I read. It's called Who, Not How. That's a book about like how to find the right people, about delegations, about scaling, team buildings, all that kind of stuff.
I'm writing this down because that's one of my big things is I want to try to improve my business skills. I'm an engineer by trade and by schooling. Business is just something that I've kind of...
because it doesn't matter what type of business, either you are in the toys and game industry or not, people is still one of the core element with any kind of business. Even in the age of AI, you still need people to monitor the AI output because AI still make mistake with ChatGPT. You always made up some random stuff that's like not there. So
and the research shows it's probably not going to ever not make mistakes based on the way that it was developed. It's always going to be having those kind of problems. It's always going to have you're going to need a human to kind of decide, is that the right thing?
Is that the right thing? Yeah. Are they just making up some stuff that's going on?
Exactly.
So, so that's definitely a very, very important aspect. So my next question is looking ahead here in the next 1, 3, or maybe 5 years, what is your vision for the company and what is the goal you have set for the companies?
Yeah. So my vision is to bring on more partners to help us really scale so we could focus in on the things that we love, which is making new games and products. We have a big roadmap for this year where we want to do up to 4 crowdfunding campaigns. We are so excited for this one. It's called Logic and Lore. It actually came out at Gen Con last year and then sold out almost immediately.
Oh, congrats.
The problem is now people want to buy it, but we don't have any to sell.
We don't have any copy.
So what we're doing is we're coming back to crowdfunding with it and a new expansion.
Expansion. Okay.
But we're so excited about that one. The reception has been amazing, and throughout the game forums, it's ranking pretty high. So I'm excited to see where that one goes and if it can turn into something that we really support with tournaments and to kind of make that put us on the map title on into the major space, because we've been kind of in the niche kind of area where this one I'm hoping will help break that barrier.
I see.
But we're also wanting to cater to our niche of kind of weird games with weird themes and mechanics. I have behind me a game called Way Too Many Cats. It's got a whole bunch of cats on the front. We're going to have a second edition of that with a whole bunch of more cat games coming out.
Nice.
And then I'm super excited about a project that we haven't announced yet, coming in 2027, that I think is going to be really helping to redefine the genre of games and two-player games. So that is kind of our roadmap, and hopefully we can turn this into some product lines that we support for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and one thing I think is very unique with you is you have launched over 20 different Kickstarter campaign, right?
Right.
What are some of the things that you learn along the way? Because not a lot of people have did 20 of them.
Yeah, so we started in 2016, where it was still relatively a new thing, and you can kind of put together something on cards and just take a picture of it and say, oh, I'm going to make this. Trust me, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah.
To right now, where you basically have to bring a finished product onto crowdfunding. So some of the big things that I've learned is, well, it goes back to just the delegation. Before, I would do a lot of the work, like the graphics design and the layout and such, and bringing on help. I just can't say enough about how good people who are really good at things can make your product look when you ask them for help. So that's been one of the biggest learning, I think, has been like bringing on a graphics designer to help us out with making our graphics look very professional. And bringing on some people who are really good at reading and correcting rule books to help make those look good as well.
I see.
So that's been, I think, the major thing is that at the beginning, it was just me and my wife, and we did all of it. We had a local artist or a friend that helped out with art. To now, each of our campaigns is probably at least like 8 people that have some sort of input.
What kind of strategy do you recommend marketing wise? Do you do a lot of meta campaign leading up to the launch, email leading up to the launch? What are some of the strategy that's working for you?
Yeah. So marketing, it's all about the number of people that see your game and then want to know more about it. So we do a combination of going to different game conventions. Meeting people face to face and showing them, hey, look at this. It looks great. And then getting their email address so we can make sure that they can follow along with the campaign. In this case, we are trying some new things for the upcoming campaign of Logic and Lore. We have a list out there. So if you go to the website now, you'll see that you can sign up for some free upgrades. Only if you sign up before the campaign. You can get about $15 worth of free upgrades just by giving us your email address and letting us send you some email.
That's a good way to do it. I know some company also like to take like a $1 deposit. It's like a deposit campaign almost. Have you tried that?
Yeah, so I've heard about that. I've seen that people do that. We're talking to some of our crowd, and they felt like at that point it's a little bit overdone at this point.
Is it?
It's great to get very specific metrics about whether or not you're ready to launch your campaign. But in this case, what I'm trying is just to sign up for this and then kind of appeal and help educate the people that are really interested in why it's important to back the project on day one for the success of the project. So I'm hoping that we can treat our backers as humans, and that if they see us as humans and they can see why, hey, it's important to do this, I'm going to go down that route rather than trying to kind of, I don't know, coerce them into, hey, you spent money, you probably should back this kind of thinking.
I see. Yeah, obviously different company have different kind of strategy for sure. So okay. So thank you so much for sharing that insight as well. So as we're kind of wrapping up today's interview, if you have to share just one piece of advice with someone that's just getting started in the toys and game industry, what would that be?
Yeah, I think one of the major things is somebody loves playing board games, at least in the board game scene. They love playing board games. they've played board games for their entire life. And
Yeah.
then maybe they came up with some new ideas, and then they came up with, oh, well, I'm going to make my own board game.
Yeah.
And then now they've gotten to the point where, like, okay, so what do? I have this cool board game. What's the next step?
Yeah.
Some people think, okay, I'm going to go to Kickstarter or crowdfunding, and people are going to buy my game. They're going to love it. And they don't realize how much work to publish a game, to get it manufactured in bulk, and work with partners in China to get that manufactured and do it cost effectively, and the logistics it takes. If you want to design games, there are people who just do that, and then they pitch their designs to publishing companies to take care of all the rest. So I think the most important thing to think about is to be really truthful with yourself and whether you want to do the work that it requires, because at some point you'll realize that you're spending maybe 90% of your time to 95% of your time on things that are not designing board games.
Yes. It's all the other business stuff that you need to do.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, that's a very good piece of advice, and thank you for sharing that to pass. So.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really hard to be honest. At least for me, it's really hard to be honest with myself. Like, oh, I could do it, but I would say take a look at some of the resources out there. We have some blogs on our website at weirdgiraffegames.com about like the work that we do.
Yeah.
And then I would highly recommend checking out Stonemeyer Games and Jamie Stegmeyer. He's got so many blogs about the work that needs to be done to make a Kickstarter campaign successful.
Yeah. It's a lot of work behind the scenes.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So for our audience and our listener that would like to learn a little bit more about you and your company, where is the best place for people to find you online?
Yeah, I think the best place to find me online is by going to weirdgiraffegames.com, like it says behind me. It's kind of hard to spell, and we tried to get a shorter URL, but the rest of them were taken. So weirdgiraffegames.com, you'll find links to our upcoming Kickstarter campaign for Logic and Lore 2nd Edition with the variants expansion, and you'll find about us and all contact information. And I'm very happy to answer questions if people have questions, or point them in the right direction for resources.
I see. Okay, thank you so much. We'll make sure we put that in the show note. And thank you so much for your time today, sharing your story, your journey, and your experience with the rest of our audience.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jason. I really appreciated you guys reaching out, and I love talking about this stuff, so I'm more than happy to talk to anybody who has any questions.
For sure. Thank you so much for so willing to share. And thank you for our audience for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I hope today's conversation gave you some practical insight and fresh inspiration for growing your own toys or game brands. This podcast is proudly brought you by Toy Launch, a leading marketing and growth partner for toys and game company. At Toy Launch, we help brands scale on Amazon and beyond through full service account management, advertising, SEO, creative, catalog optimization, influencer marketing, and more. If you're looking for a proven team that understands the toys and game industry and digital marketing, we're here to help. If you want a free personalized strategy session for your brand, your opportunity, and your best next step, you can schedule a free consultation session with us. Just visit toy-launch.com/schedule. And if you want to connect with other toys and game founders, join our free community Toys and Game Launchpad at toy-launch.com/group, or you can find our group on Facebook as well. For more resource, update, and industry insight, visit us at anytime at toy-launch.com. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea, signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.